Hello amigos, I'm here at the top of Sandia Mountains, around 10,300 feet. It's a very hot day down there in the city, about 90 plus degrees. Here on top of the mountain is a lot cooler, it's very comfortable. We finally had some rains a few days ago, so we decided to come up to the top and see if we could find, good wildflowers, good specimens to photograph. In addition to looking for areas where the light is getting filtered through the trees, we also have a few clouds in the sky, so hopefully that will give us some very good light conditions. So join me in the rest of this video. I'll show you, what we can do in the next few minutes. Well, here are a couple of images I took a few minutes ago. There are not as many flowers as we expected. I think the rains were just a little too recent. I think give it another week, there are going to be a lot of flowers in this area. So we're going to continue walking and see what we find. Now, what am I using? I'm using my Canon 5D3 full frame camera with the 100-400 lens. The second version is a very sharp lens, and then I added extension tube, in this case a 24mm extension tube that allows me to get a lot closer to the flower and get the flower to be larger in the image. These flowers are really small, they're a third of an inch at most, so you really need quite a bit of magnification. Well, as I was telling you, we didn't see a lot of flowers, but we found a lot of catalinas in Spanish, or ladybugs. Let me show you some of them. I had never seen this many ladybugs in one place. Amigos, it was great spending a few hours with my friends at the top of the mountain photographing flowers, even though we didn't see many. But I wanted to leave you with two tips. One, I think I already mentioned that we need to look for nice specimens in very good condition. What happens is once we bring it into our computer and edit, everything gets magnified. So here, for example, you have this flower. It's not the best image, but I wanted to use it just to show. If I blow it up, you can see right here this area of dry petal. If this image had been a great image and I wanted to save it, then I'll probably need to go to Photoshop and try to retouch it. In this case, it's just for illustration purposes. So look for pristine flowers, especially when the flowers are small. Pay a lot of attention to those things, even little insects. The second tip has to do with getting down low. Sometimes having a pair of knee pads is really handy. We need to get down low and shoot at the level of the flower. Once we're down low, we can then work our composition, move around, paying attention to the background, trying to isolate the flower, and then we can end up with nice images like this one. And this is the image that I end up liking the most of this outing. Now, it didn't start here. This is the original image, and as you see, I needed to crop it a bit. The colors are very different, so I want to show you what I did. So the first thing was to do the cropping, and you can see I did a good amount of crop, maybe about 2/3 of the frame I end up leaving and crop out the rest, and it resulted in a better frame, following the rule of thirds, putting the flower on one of the points. Once I cropped the image, I selected the artistic profile. The profiles are a very easy way to change the look of the image. In this case, I selected artistic 2 to give me a good foundation. And one of the advantages of using the profiles is that you can also change the percentage amount. The default is 100 and you can reduce it or even go past 100. So in this case, I went a little bit over, like 118%. Once I applied the profile, then I did the regular edits most of us will do, right? So I adjusted the exposure a bit, adjusted highlights, shadows, whites, and blacks, and apply just a little bit of texture. And then in the HSL panel, I apply a little bit of additional luminance to the reds. I applied saturation to the blue and purples, and changed the hue a bit on the blue and the purple. And that was just to try to balance to my taste the colors a little bit more. Then apply a good amount of sharpening with a significant mask to basically have the sharpening applied primarily to the areas of detail on the flower, and an amount of noise reduction since this image was taken at ISO 2500. Finally, using the radial brush, I applied a bit of texture and clarity. I used the color mask. I'm going to show you the mask. So basically I was limiting the effect of the additional texture and clarity to the little petals of the flower, okay? The last thing we needed to do had to do with this piece of grass. It's very distracting. Even though I had changed the colors of the image, it was still very obvious. It's relatively sharp, so I needed to get rid of it, and I didn't want to necessarily go all the way to Photoshop. So I tried the heel brush, and I end up having to do it in two parts, the top half and then kind of the bottom half, end up giving me, a good correction. And this is the overall photo that I ended up with. And like I said, this is one of my favorite images. I like the overall look. And I hope you like this transformation. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, send me a comment, let me know what you'd like to see in future videos, and take a couple seconds to subscribe. See you next time.